Hello and welcome, I am Wispins. Today I'll be showing my Hyprland setup on Arch Linux. So as you can see, I have used WayBar on the top for the toolbar panel. And for the wallpaper I have used Hyprpaper. Then as you can see the numbers on the top, it is the workspaces. So I can add 10 workspaces, but I have limited myself to 5 workplaces. Also, when you develop things, you edit videos, you do recording, you need to keep track of CPU utilization and memory. So I have kept this, how much memory is being used, RAM, then how is the CPU usage percentage. So it keeps me very handy. It is very handy to get to know the system resources and for their efficient utilization. Then I'll show my config files. So this is my terminal. So I am using foot terminal emulator, and and the shell is bash. So if I want to show my configuration files, so I will show them by ls. Then I can do .config. Then it will show what all are there. I have foot is my terminal emulator. Then I have in .config files, I am using Thunar for the file management and WayBar for the upper. It is also the complementary of Polybar. Then I have Wofi for your app launch, and to see recent windows I am using Wofi, but I have not set that up to that mark, but Wofi is more or less working fine. So this is my setup for Wofi. Then let's see my config file, nano. Okay, so this is my conf file for Hyprland overall. Okay, so I faced this issue. My monitor resolution was not working properly. So I need to see this up. So I made a profile. Under this I had to set up the settings for the proper resolution. Also my WayBar was too thick, so I have to resize it. So for that I need to resize the entire configuration for the monitor. Then I have foot exec once. I need to comment this off. I didn't realize in the starting that every time I used to switch to hyper user, in which I am running my Hyprland, the foot used to pop out in the first instance. So I wasn't liking that, so I just commented that out. You can put that if you want. So I have this exec once. It's usually recommended to write Hyprpaper, so it will to execute it only once and not every time. So it's when you start your machine and when you boot it to your system, so it's recommended to just execute it one time. Then I have kept the keybinds for so these keybinds I need to, again I have done some mistake and I'm not able to do these keybinds, so we can ignore this. I have made other files also under this, like monitor, auto start, cursor, in order to organize my overall config files better. So I made separate files, but some very detailed or basic commands I have just written down here only. Though I have made a separate keybind file, but I preferred it writing over here only. So because it wasn't much, so I thought that it can be better if I write over here only. So there are some basic you will be knowing if you are into i3 or any other tiling WM. So you need to mention your keybinds. Moving further, so if I just exit from here, then what can we do? Okay. Then I also faced issue in the Hyprpaper. I don't know, but I wasn't able to configure it in one go. So let me share it that also. That might be Hyprpaper. So it's a very basic thing. I don't know how did I go wrong in the first instance, but it took me like some hours, 1 or 2 hours to just do this. Maybe I was missing a comma, or I was missing some proper pathway, that's why, and I was overlooking it for some time, but I just got to know that I'm going wrong, so I did that thing correctly. Then let's see more files that I have configured. I have configured Wofi, as I mentioned, so I can write it is Wofi. Then I can write style. I have written, I guess, style. So I can just do ls and find what all files are there, as I don't remember exactly when I was doing it. Okay, enter. So there's config and wofi.css. So wofi.c, we can just look at config and get an idea what I have done. Wofi.css, it's a basic CSS. Like I have defined a for window, for input, for inner box, then scroll, then how once the entry gets selected. So major simple, simple CSS. Then we can also see the config file over here. In config file, just I have limited the width and height for the Wofi. This is the Wofi. If you just lost the track, so this is talking about this drun, the app launcher Wofi. And there is hide scroll, then there is allow. So I haven't allowed the images, the icons for the apps, so I have put it false over here. Then these are, and I have dark theme I have kept. I can keep this false, so it will give me light theme. That's self-explanatory. Then I have also so we have covered Webar, I have shown Hyprpaper, I have shown Wofi. Okay, let's go to now foot. So first see the files, what all there are in foot. So I can do config, then I can do foot, then I can just do this. Okay, so foot.in is this one file. Cool. So let's have a look over this. Okay, so this is foot.ini for my terminal emulator. So I'm talking about this terminal emulator. So what customization I have done, I have just added these three. I was trying for the clock also, but I don't know, it wasn't showing up properly, so I just dropped the idea for now. I'll be more customizing it. I prefer to keep a light theme because it was going with my overall light theme, which I have been using for my Hyprland. And also I have already used dark theme a lot in my i3 already, and so I'm nowadays I'm more inclined towards light themes, so I'm just trying it out. So let's see. Okay, so there is the color, then I have font colors. So I have defined some fonts. So these fonts, these hex codes for the color, I basically searched on the net or the light themes. Then there are some bright so okay, so I am using two users right now. One is WizBeans and second is Hypr. So actually I can find this out which user I am on. So I can do this by writing who. So it will tell me who all are the users. So now this seems very interesting. So let's close this foot thing. So I'm done with my config files majorly. So when I have been using i3, so I wanted to try Hyprland. So I made a virtual terminal. First I created a new user, then I opened that user on my virtual terminal to configure it, to add Hyprpaper, to add Wofi, to have basic settings, so that when I use that, so I have a basic UI. So this is the main user, which is on TTY7. So how can you access it? It's by Control Alt and the F keys. So I can access from F1 to F9, F10, depends on a machine. So that's why I can just switch over from one user to another user. It is very seamless, it is very smooth, and at the same time I get the feel for i3 and as well as for the Hyprland. So I can basically divide my workspaces. So I'm recording for some video, let's say Obsidian, so I can do it on i3, and parallelly I can do the recording on Hyprland for this Hyprland configuration. So it's very seamless overall, and it's quite productive as well. So on TTY6 means on F6 key I am on hyper user. So this is the introduction. Also, if I want to specifically see on which user I am present, so I can write who am I. So it will tell I am hyper. So if I was i3, so it will tell me whizbeans. So likewise it will work. Now looks like, so if I do neo fetch, so it tells my OS name, it tells everything out there. It tells me DE Hyprland. So yes, so in this way you can actually experience many different tiling WM by creating new users. It is also advisable to do so. Now at a beginner level, how did I know how to approach? So let's see. It's a very good resource I want to share with you all. Is your Hyper wiki, Hyprland wiki. It is very useful. Hyprland wiki, just search it. This source is a gold mine for beginners and even at all levels to know about Hyprland. So it tells you how to installation. Just follow my cursor. It tells about getting started, installation, master tutorial. For initial motivation, I refer to this pre-configured setup. So they tell you how will you be at the end. So you just get some really cool images, really cool setups. So you just refer to them, and if any one of this interests you, just go on to the GitHub and have a look. It's actually very good for a beginner. Just see how the configuration files are set up one after the another. You have to make a config folder. Under this you have to keep your waybar files or foot files and all that stuff. So it's a very good thing. So you get a basic flow. So if you want to follow this as it is, you can do. But I was already having another user which the things were conflicting. So I couldn't just copy someone's config files now, because it will may cause potential conflicts with my whizbeans user, which is using i3 and Electricity as a terminal emulator. Thunar is already customized there, so I didn't want to touch any of those. So I strictly went from very basic, not to touch the in this way you can have a look over here. So I have just told you. So you can see dot files over here. Under dot files, as I have showed my .config folder, there are .config folder. So you can have a look. If you find something interesting, like you find, suppose this Tunst application I haven't added to my, it is for notification management. So you can add this if you like it. So this is for your configuration options. So it gives you a brief idea, very good idea in my honest opinion, to have a look on these. But if you wanting to set up yourself, so you have something like this. So I was facing the overall layout problem. It was not resolution problem. It was not clear at all. So I need to follow this article. So this is a good resource. It tells you about the special resolutions, how to improve your resolution. Then we have animations. Hyprland is known for animations for a smooth overall seamless experience. So you can add your curve, speed, on and off. So it's an endless learning. I again repeat. Useful utilities you can refer to, as it shows you what are the must have, your status bars, your app launchers. Suppose for the wallpaper, I just mentioned Hyprpaper. Before Hyprpaper, I tried SwayBG. It was great. It was really easy. It didn't give me any problem. Hyprpaper in the start, yes, it was not reloading. I don't know why. Even I restarted my machine, still it wasn't. But after some time, after hit and try, it started. But SwayBG was very seamless. But I wanted to try Hyprpaper also, so I uninstalled this and tried this. There are other options like Waypaper, and all the installation is given right over here. So then for the suppose app launchers, let's see the app launchers. I used Wofi. I already had. I was in my i3, so I wanted to use Wofi, so I tried that. Then you have Tofi, you have many, so you can just keep on trying if you want. Then for the status bars, Waybar is, I wanted to try Waybar, that's why I did. You have other options also, like you have hybrid, so you can use that, but I wanted to use Waybar. As you can see how I have configured my Waybar, it tells me my details. Suppose I want to see calendar, so I have kept over here the clock and the calendar I can refer to, so it matches my needs. That's really positive I have for the Hyprland. And in the useful utilities, you have some must-haves. So a notification daemon, then you have some authentication agent, so it's endless list. So best resource I personally would suggest is your Hyprland wiki. If you are a new user, just spend your time. I'm still spending my time on this website. I need to more configure on this Hyprland, but as of now it is okay, like my work is being done. And so I have been mentioning that I am a i3 user, then I shifted, then I am also not shifting, I am trying Hyprland. So what it is also, i3 is also a tiling WM window manager, and Hyprland is also a tiling window manager. So but in i3 you can actually decide how will the new window will be opening. It doesn't open like randomly, or it doesn't pre-configure itself. You need to configure, you need to give that direction. Do you want a tabbed window? But in Hyprland it's open smoothly. So in Hyprland you have various ways, so I have kept it like this. The new window will partitioning the current highlighted window. So when my cursor goes on next window, the highlighting can be seen on the borders. If it is on this window, the highlighting can be seen on the borders. So if I keep my cursor over here and open a new terminal, it will be partitioning it into half. If I keep my cursor over here on this part, so it will partition this into half. So this is a very seamless experience.